What's up, Fox and Fox here, and in today's video we're talking about this bad boy. This bad boy. Got a chair digging in my hip, god damn it. Just want to say you're gonna be seeing me in this hoodie for like the rest of eternity because it's from my favorite band, it's super comfortable, and I love the design on it. Go check them out. With that said, today's video is about the Apple Watch Series 3. This is such a weird video to make, and I understand that it's like, well, it's an Apple Watch, what's so weird about it? But if I made this video 2 weeks ago, the answer to should you buy an Apple Watch Series 3 would have been a resounding yes. But nowadays it's a little bit more wishy-washy. But I'm going to go over the reasons why I would say yes in the first place. Reason of that being the fact that the price tag, even for the thicker version, is $199. And in my humble opinion, if you buy an Apple Watch for anything above $250, there's just no point. You're spending $600 on a glorified watch. I mean, I understand that watches in and of themselves are expensive, but the thing about these $2,000 and $10,000 watches from Rolex are that they are meant to last forever. They are calibrated with quartz and all this kind of different technology that's so interesting because there's no computers involved. Whereas if you spend $600 on an Apple Watch, or God forbid, like the $10,000, Louis Vuitton version or whatever, in 6 years, it can be taken away from you like nobody's business in less than 6 years. I don't know how long the Series 3 has been out. Hey Google, how long ago did the Apple Watch Series 3 come out?
Apple Watch Series 3's release date is September 22nd, 2017. Would you like to hear more?
No. So the Apple Watch Series 3 came out April 22nd, 2017. And 3 short years later,
Sorry,
okay.
I don't have any information about that, but I found something else.
I said be
Do you
quiet.
want to know whether the Apple Watch Series 3 is still good in 2019?
No. Just go away. Stop.
Sorry, I don't understand.
No. Okay. I think the robot has stopped for the moment. Now, if I were to make a video on whether you should buy a Google Home or not, the answer would be a resounding no. I'm going to switch to Alexa at some point. But with that said, today's focus on the Apple Watch. So it came out on April 22nd, 2017. So this would be 3.5 years later, right? Which is, in and of itself, a good amount of longevity, but you're putting essentially well over, I'm pretty sure the MSRP for the Apple Watch Series 3 was $400 when it first came out, which means that you would be spending over $100 a year because it is now starting to be phased out. If you're an Apple Watch Series 3 owner like me, you have a lot of time left. Don't be worried about it, but buying it today is going to be a little bit of a different thing. Starting off with the pros, we have number one, the battery life. Not having an always-on display on a fresh battery life, because these things are still being sold new, is pretty fantastic. This thing will get me through 2 days easily, probably even 2.5. I mean, I will sleep with it on and then charge it in the morning when I'm taking a shower, and then it lasts me the rest of the day. So I have no issues with the battery life whatsoever. In fact, I think it's better than the Series 5. My dad got the Series 5, I think. Yeah, Series 5 with the always-on display, and it only lasts him about a day before he has to charge it, whereas this one really does last a long time. Granted, if you have one from 2017, probably a different story because the battery's degraded over time. On top of that, you're still getting 99% of the functionality out of the watch that you are in the Watch Series 5. It's still plenty fast enough for being a watch. You're going to use it 90% of the time to look at this, see if you need to check your rings, or just check the time in general, or notifications that pop up. And for that, it is still plenty fast. I don't see any reason to need to go any faster than that. The only thing is once in a while, we're in bed mode. But this is the one thing that can be improved, is on here, the scrolling speed isn't incredibly fast. When the day comes where an Apple Watch comes out with a 120 hertz screen, I think that would be awesome. But of course, that's not going to happen for a very long time, considering the fact we're just getting them on phones now. There's also another fantastic feature. Going to college and walking around all day, not knowing which way to turn, instead of having to look down at my phone all the time, the gesture-based or the haptic-based way it tells you which way to turn and where you need to go is actually really awesome. So I really do like that feature a lot. Even when driving, it's pretty easy to, focus on the road instead of what's being yelled at you or on the GPS. So having the haptic feedback is really nice. It doesn't take a whole lot of strain on the battery either. So I really do like the Maps feature as well. Most for is the rings. I check my rings every single day. I try to fill them out. I think it's a fun way. I really do think that it's a nice competitive way to get into activity. But one of the biggest things for me is seeing how many steps I did the day before and having my Apple Watch track, seeing if I did the same or more or less. For instance, when I was at campus, I would walk 14,000 steps a day. And now I'm walking about 6 because I moved back home. I don't walk nearly as much anymore, but I need to start. And in doing so, the Apple Watch will help me because it will tell me, hey, you know, you need to fill your rings. You get up out of the chair, you fat fuck. And then, of course, I also use it for Spotify. Dude, I want to get out of bedtime mode. I'm not going to bed today. We're way too past that. It's 6 in the morning. Dictation for texts works pretty well. Siri could work a lot better, but I think that's just how Siri is. Because you're supposed to talk to it when you pull it out of your... when you go close to your mouth, it's supposed to read that you're talking to Siri. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And Siri is generally pretty slow on it, so that could definitely be improved, and I think it probably was in the Series 4 and 5, but it's still enough. And I think that's what the Apple Watch 3 sort of is. Still enough. Nobody's going to look at you and be like, you have a Series 3? Are you kidding me? First of all, because nobody's going to notice you have a Series 3 because they all look the exact same. But also because it's still plenty fast. You need to check the time? Bam! It's right there. The only thing that's different in watchOS 7, and the reason why it's giving me pause to recommend this completely like it was 2 weeks ago, is because watchOS 7 has started to phase out features that are in the newer watches. For no reason at all. You know, it's not like they have the... Obviously, even having a Series 4 means you're not getting the blood oxygen sensor that doesn't work anyway. But the biggest thing is that right now, Series 3 has seen the first phase of being phased out through software only. How are you going to tell me? How is Apple going to tell me that a watch that handles watch faces can't put on Chronograph Pro as a watch face? Is one more circle enough to dilute the RAM of this thing? I highly doubt it. Yet they take it away from us because this is the end of the lifespan for the Series 3. So when you're buying a $200 watch, in a sense, you're also buying e-waste. Because luckily Apple does have the recycle program, which I'll probably use because I'm a very firm believer in not sending things to the junkyard. But with that said, you're spending $200 on something that's going to be useless in a year, you know? And I think that falls into the whole Apple being overpriced thing. I think that they are definitely ingenuitive. Before Apple existed, there really weren't any smartwatches that were good enough for anything. Same with AirPods. But these things, it's just going to be outdated in a few years. And the worst part about the Apple Watch is unlike, I could pick up an iPhone 3GS right now and still use it. It may not have all the newest features, God knows it doesn't. It may not even connect to Wi-Fi anymore. But everything that you had on it before will still work now. And it should be the same with this. But I noticed this last time. Again, talking about my dad, he was an early adapter of the Apple Watch. So he actually had a Series 0. And by the time I think the Series 3 came out, I couldn't even use it anymore. It wouldn't let me pair to the new phone anymore, which is incredibly dumb. Let it pair to the phone, if not for anything other than notifications, rings, and a watch. That's all you need. Hell, just let it even be the watch face. I don't even care if it's going to have notifications for activity. But if I buy a watch that is $200, you know what? No. This watch that I bought off of Amazon for $20 3 years ago, or maybe even 4 now, still works like a charm. So how can you justify this not working in a few years? A piece that is digitized to just run a watch face. It's incredibly annoying and very anti-consumer. But for what it is, if you're looking for an Apple Watch, first of all, don't buy the $500 one. If you buy the $500 one, I will look at you as less of a person. Because although, yes, I am a very privileged person to have the ability to buy an Apple Watch, if you spend $500 on an Apple Watch, you are just a new breed. And it's evolution going backwards because that is pathetic. So then those are the thoughts of my Apple Watch. It's everything you need to do, but that's about it. And in a year or so, it'll be completely useless, sent back to Tim Cook. But for $200, I can't complain. Well, I am, but it's enough for me to justify spending $200 on it. When the time comes for me to upgrade, I'll probably get the SE. I definitely won't be getting the $500 one. I think the Watch SE is actually a really good value proposition, considering the fact that you're probably getting the same thing as like an iPhone SE that'll stay updated for a long time. So that's what I'd recommend you buy instead, if you have the extra $50 to spend. Of course, when I bought my Series 3, the SE didn't exist, nor was it ever announced, so I wouldn't have known about it, or the fact that they were trying to phase out the Series 3. But for $50 extra, you're definitely getting a lot more longevity out of your device, and on top of that, you're also going to be getting a few more creature comforts as well. But that would be my suggestion, is probably the SE. It's an extra $50, which I understand can be pretty steep when you're talking about $200. But it's something to definitely heavily consider if you really want this to last a long time instead of just getting something now. I definitely think the $50 is worth it for the updates, knowing that WatchOS 8 isn't going to phase out your watch, and it'll probably last up until WatchOS 10, probably another 3 or 4 years. So I definitely think that would be my recommendation in 2020. But the Series 3 still, if you have a Series 3 watch, I wouldn't worry about it too much. You may think you want to upgrade, but to be honest with you, I don't think so. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you like this video, like, subscribe. Do what you usually do on every other person's YouTube videos. And as always, buy yourself something nice.